All throughout flight training, we're admonished to do coordinated flight. But in crosswind landings, we need to use cross control or uncoordinated flight. And in our minds, this is something we shouldn't do, or maybe we think is unsafe. You need to look out the windscreen and position the airplane for the situation at hand. Here's an approach with a crosswind from the right. I lead with left rudder to align the longitudinal axis of the airplane with the direction of flight. I then counter the resulting drift to the left with right aileron. If you neutralize rudder and aileron, you go back into a crab to the right. I like to fly in this crab down close to the runway instead of the cross-controlled slip from far out. It is imperative that at the moment of touchdown, the wheels are going parallel to the direction of flight. This is especially true in a tailwheel airplane. Also notice the slight right wing down to counter the left drift. Rudder to align the wheels parallel to the direction of travel. Drop the left wing to stop any drift. And after touchdown, keep the left aileron turned into the wind. Use rudder and or brakes to roll out straight. Tail down for positive steering. So let's ride along on some crosswind instruction. We're going to land on the right side of the runway on a small grass strip, past the taxiway. The wind is 20 degrees off the left, gusting to 30 knots. That gives a 10-knot left component and a 28-knot headwind component.
1 notch flaps, that'll work. Now we're coming at it a little bit of an angle.
Yeah,
like
because the wind's going to push us over.
Well, no, just get right straight over.
Okay.
Get right straight down the runway.
All right.
And then do the crab angle. And this will tell you how much crosswind you have.
Okay.
And if you can do it. If it's over here at 50 degrees, well, probably don't want it down. Okay, so add a little power. We're going to have to keep it up there. Now we're going to keep the nose coming down. Now we're dropping. Add some power and lower the nose there. We really got to drop there. Okay, I can still see that pavement there. Don't bring the nose up anymore. Keep the nose down there and the power too. Okay, now we can start easing off on the power a little bit, but you can see it's too much. And now, right rudder, bring it around. Drop that wing, easing off on the power. Not all the way, but fast, but there you are. There it is. Power off now. And keep aileron, keep into the wind. Keep it going straight. And there it was.
Couple things to note here. This airplane's on extended gear with big tires, so we're using the wheel landing attitude to land so we can see the 10-foot wide grass strip. We use just enough rudder to bring the nose around to align the wheels with the runway, counter the drift with aileron. Now in this forward slip, drag is increased, which will increase your rate of descent, so you may have to counterbalance that with a little bit of power. If you do hit the ground on a high rate of descent, you will bounce back up into the air. And if the nose comes up during that bounce and you lose visual alignment with the runway, the next time you come down you may be cocked a little bit sideways, and then problems can happen.
So if you get up here and you can't hold down that center line, that might be an indication too that oh shit.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, so right now that gives you an idea. And you can actually, from here, you can go ahead and, you know, right rudder, put the airplane. Now, can you hold it there? Okay, I can probably land there. Now you can go back, gives you an idea. Then I like to go back and just relax right here in the crab and wait for a while. Instead of flying all the way in that forward slip, just relax, because you know things are going to get dicey here, maybe. In our point, everything's going good. See the pavement there. Now we just got to fight the up and down drafts, and everything's going good. Bending a little bit, so we're coming in just a slight amount of power. Okay. Okay, now get the nose around. Get the nose straightened out. Right rudder, left aileron. That's it. There it is. Forward. Just like that. Pushing forward. Keep it it up, holding everything down, see the runway. Good, and there we are. Now, whenever we want to, we can get stopped. Come on down, put the tail down.
We'll try a different runway. This is about 45 degrees to the left, 22, gusting to 28 knots. That figures about an 18 knot left component and 21 knot headwind component.
Well, that's the same thing. If you wanted to test it out to see if you could land there, you could go ahead and let's straighten out. So do a forward slip. So right rudder, get straightened out, drop it down. You know, can you see the downward motion we got? But you could hold it. It looks like we perfectly could. Okay, come back out of that. Little power and we'll get on up there. And we may need just a little bit of power as we roll out there. We'll see how it is there. Okay, coming on in. So I usually wait. Everything's going here. We're in a crab. And then somewheres wherever you feel comfortable from here on in. You know when you go into forward slip, you're going to have some downward. So right rudder. There, see how we're going down? You have to add some power to counteract that. We're going down, but there you go. Counteract it. Ease off on it. Ease off. Seeing the end of the runway. Ease off on the power. Whoop, we're down quite a bit. Okay. Aileron, keep into the wind. We'll go ahead and stop. Okay, so that time we were a little high. You pulled the power off and we dropped it. Got it. Now see, it's wanting to, as we slow down, it's wanting to go to the left. We'll stop right here.
Okay, so let's watch the next time around here. We're comfortably in our crab angle. We're going to wait closer to the threshold. We'll have right rudder to bring the nose straight around down the strip. Drop that left wing. Creates a little bit of forward slip drag, so we add a little power to stabilize coming down. Looking straight ahead there. We'll touch down. Now right there at the end we had maybe a little bit too much aileron because we come off to the left side, but we're still going straight. Everything's under control. Tail down, and we'll go ahead and get it stopped. So what are some of the problems you can encounter? Well, one is using overly large inputs for the forward slip. Think of it this way. You can use 1 unit of rudder and 1 unit of aileron to hold yourself down the runway, or you can use 3 units of rudder and 3 units of aileron to stay down the runway. Use just the minimum amount to accomplish the task. Arriving at your touchdown point with excessive airspeed can also be a problem. If you end up floating and floating down the runway, it just gives more time for a gust of wind to mess with your alignment. And of course, as you slow down, finally slowing down, the control surfaces become less effective, so then you need to keep varying the amount of deflection. That's one reason I like the wheel landing attitude in a tailwheel airplane. I can put the wheels under control down at most any airspeed, and with enough forward pressure hold the wheels on the ground with friction and roll out, and then quickly transition at a speed to get the tail wheel down for positive tail wheel steering afterwards. You need to be in positive control of the airplane at all times. Floating down the runway, just waiting for something to happen, isn't good piloting technique and usually ends up in disaster. Also, setting down and then patting yourself on the back before everything gets stopped can end up being a problem. As I mentioned in the video clip, when you go into the forward slip, the added drag will increase your rate of descent. Unless this is accounted for, you will hit the ground and probably bounce up, the nose coming up where you can't see the forward alignment, and then if you just sit there and hoping and bounce down again, things can happen. So unless you've got a lot of runway where you can reconfigure and make a nice smooth touchdown, it's time for a go-around.